Need a fun free indoor activity? Well, the Contemporary Arts Museum has you covered with its new exhibition, Out of Stock. This inspiring exhibit features work from Houston teens and was curated and created by CAM's 14th Teen Council. The artwork really makes you think and reflect on big ideas like consumerism and identity. Out of Stock is made by teens, but everyone will enjoy it. The exhibit is running now until October 19th, so head to camh.org to learn more. And don't forget, CAM is always free. I'll see you there. The British International School of Houston is an international and diverse private school with top academic results in a state-of-the-art 32-acre campus. From PK3 through 12th grade, students build pathways to the world's best universities through excellent results in internationally recognized qualifications. Guiding them are teachers who are global talents. Interested in learning more about the British International School of Houston? Search BIS Houston online and get in touch with their admissions team. And you can also join them for their upcoming open house by registering online. CityCast Houston's private school guide is live this week. Check it out on our website, houston.citycast.fm, and in our daily newsletter, Hey Houston. Today's featured school is the British International School. At the British International School of Houston, students from PK3 through 12th grade are empowered to unlock their full potential through academic excellence and world-class teaching. If you're looking for a school that goes beyond the expected and prepares your child to thrive in a dynamic world for right now and in the future, it's time to explore the British International School of Houston. Learn more and schedule a visit by Googling BIS Houston. Today on CityCast Houston, new text messages from Mayor Whitmire reveal what was actually driving his decision to remove bike lanes, plus 100 gallons of coconut lotion. You definitely want to hear this one. I'm breaking those stories down and more with ABC 13 reporter Shannon Ryan. It's Tuesday, September 9th. I'm Raheel Ramzanali, and here's what Houston's talking about. Shannon, what's up? Are you enjoying this cool weather?
I am, Raheel. I've been so excited for this weather. It's a long time coming, man. How about you?
Yeah, I am. It is so nice to just walk outside and not get hit with that full force of humidity and heat. This is good. But look, we have to kind of temper our expectations because the heat is coming back later this week. So it's just a little taste of fall.
I feel like this year in terms of heat was not that bad, right? Like the last couple summers have been pretty brutal.
Yeah. I mean, we had the historic heat dome a couple of summers ago. The previous summer, 2024, was hot as well. But you're right. It just felt cooler this year. And it felt like we had a little bit more rain. You know what this cool temperature just means? Like we're right there. We're right there for fall. And we're just getting that taste, which is nice. So we can go outside and enjoy some stuff.
The false fall.
Yeah. And one thing you can do in this great weather is ride your bike, unless you're in Midtown, because last spring, we saw that the city started tearing away and taking away the very popular protected bike lanes on Austin Street in Midtown. And we learned that Mayor Whitmire was doing this because of public safety concerns, or at least that's what was said publicly. Well, now we are learning that behind the scenes, it was totally different because new text messages are revealing and giving us an inside look into what actually was driving Mayor Whitmire's decision to scale back on bike lanes. And spoiler alert, Shannon, it's not looking at data or public safety concerns like he has said publicly. These private text messages from Mayor Whitmire were obtained by a public records request by the founder of a pedestrian safety group, and it is not looking good for the mayor.
Yeah, Raheel, this was controversial from the jump, but this certainly fans the flames. So just to paint a better picture for folks who aren't familiar with this, these were bike lanes that the county had actually paid to put in. And this was in the midst of budget talks. So we were battling this historic budget deficit, paid to rip these bike lanes on out. At the time, as you mentioned, the mayor was saying that this was because of public safety concerns. He was leaning really heavy on this idea of it being an issue for the fire department. Now we're learning that this was part of sort of a broader strategy in terms of Whitmire leaning on the fire chief. So again, this was around the time that we had a new fire chief coming in. So to one of his advisors, Whitmire sent a text and said, "Good luck. I'm planning on new fire chief to say it's unsafe and remove bike lanes." a lot of people had suspected that this was just like Whitmire's own personal opinion, that of his friends. And I think that text messages like that are having people who were already skeptical start to question whether or not this was actually a public safety issue.
Yeah, and one of the people that was skeptical, and I asked him on CityCast Houston, Joe Catrufo, who is the director of Bike Houston, I asked him straight up, like, why do you think Mayor Whitmire dislikes bike lanes? And he was open about his answer. I'm going to link that episode in there. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because he called groups like Bike Houston basically bullies and anti-car folks. This is frustrating, I know, for a lot of people because the safety data says that bike lanes are good. They're okay. Like, we need them to protect bikers. And it also, limiting the size of car lanes helps with the safety of cars as well. So this is a good thing. But when you have a mayor who is just basing it on an inner circle and social media chatter, as opposed to the data and studies, this is where it gets frustrating for residents. And it gets frustrating that they're not being heard correctly. And decisions are being made by one man as opposed to one man who should be representing the city and the constituents.
So in all fairness to the mayor, I had covered the council sessions in which people did come up and provide public comment on the removal of these bike lanes. And there were some business owners that came and said, hey, we've had issues with parking along this street. A few residents said that the bike lanes negatively impacted trash pickup. And then you also have the bicycle activists who say these are really important. Alternatively, we spoke with a lot of people along that bike path who said, this is a critical artery. I use this to get to work every day. So we've heard different opinions.
Shannon, we heard a lot of pushback after this project got underway, and Mayor Whitmire did compromise, and he left the lanes in but took out those physical barriers, which really left the biking community pretty unhappy. And regarding that pushback, there was a text message, and I'm going to read this verbatim, okay, where Mayor Whitmire said that, quote, funny, keep going. I proud of you. That's what he wrote. I didn't misspoke. I proud of you. I may actually start having fun. The activists did a tape about 11th Street. They know public not with them, and I am getting stronger.
I think as much as the mayor uses relatively extreme rhetoric when referring to these bike activists, I think a lot of people also can be extreme in the way that they sort of characterize the mayor in their discussions. Like, they like to paint him as this grumpy old man who hates these hippies on their bikes and just wants to rip out the bike lanes and we can take cars everywhere. And I don't think text messages like that are helping his case.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. By the way, there is a protest planned regarding the removal of bike lanes, and it's not your typical protest, okay? Because September 13th, the cyclist group World Naked Bike Ride Houston is planning a naked bike ride in protest of the removal of bike lanes by Mayor Whitmire. And this is the 14th ride the group has done. I have never heard of this ride. And I kind of want to go now. I don't know if I'm going to participate, Shannon, but I want to see this. I want to see this protest now.
Raheel, so I am actually working the night shift that day. So I am so excited to cover this, but it's funny you bring it up. I was thinking about it this morning and I was like, gosh, I have to reach out to the organizers because obviously we're a visual medium and we clearly wouldn't show people nude on television. Like, you can get artistic with it. You know how it is. Like, you can shoot their feet, things like that. But I don't know, like, rolling up with a camera feels funny, but I know they're doing this to raise awareness, so they want that. But I'm like, oh God, do I have to like tell people, hey, we're here for the news? I'm sorry, I'm not just filming you naked for fun. It's just a lot.
I think you got to let them know. And I think a lot of people are going to be like, hey, hold on. You can't be doing that. But it's also on a public street. So they know what they're signing up for. And the group has said, you don't have to be fully nude. They put it as bare as you dare.
Yes.
That's a great tag right there. Bare as you dare. By the way, the organizers did note that the city has an ordinance prohibiting public nudity. So you kind of have to, go at your own risk. So I'm not sure. I kind of want to go just to see this. And maybe I'll go like costume. All right. Maybe that's what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm not going nude. There's no way.
So you may actually participate in this. You may be as bare as you care to dare.
Yeah, Bear as you dare is my nickname, all right?
Is it?
That's a totally different story.
Woo!
But yeah, this protest is happening, and I can't wait to see the text messages that Mayor Whitmire says about this protest. When those texts leak, oof, it's going to be wild.
Perhaps he has learned his lesson about communicating about the bike activists through channels that can be so easily accessed through TPIA. So maybe we won't ever see those bike text messages. Maybe they'll be sent on Signal. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? All right, Shannon, we'll keep our eye on this story and, of course, what comes after these text messages. This is something you're going to be following as well, and things are about to get really interesting and semi-naked. When we get back, we are going to go through and talk about some stories that you might have missed with Lightning Round.
Hey y'all, I want to tell you about the newest exhibition at the Holocaust Museum Houston. It's called Growing Up Jewish, Art and Storytelling, and it starts September 19th. It explores the key people, experiences, and community that shaped artist Jacqueline Cott Wall. The exhibit is a really interesting combination of paintings plus the artist's own narration. So you can see playful images of Jewish holidays, milestones, and so many other experiences, and read the artist's written reflections about being Jewish, from her grandmother's kitchen at Passover to summer camp. The exhibition is included with your general admission ticket to the Holocaust Museum Houston, so plan your visit now at hmh.org/growingupjewish. And don't forget, admission is free for everyone on Thursdays from 2 to 5 p.m. and always free for children and students through age 18 and college students with a valid student ID. You don't want to miss this moving journey through the eyes of a beloved artist. Head to hmh.org/growingupjewish to learn more.
Did you know that September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and kidney cancer is one of the most common types of childhood cancer? So, the Kidney Cancer Association is asking for your help to bring awareness and raise funds through a fun favor. Here it is. Get some chalk, go outside, and write messages of hope on a sidewalk. Yep, that's it. You can raise awareness by chalking up your sidewalk. And be sure to tag the Kidney Cancer Association on social media so they can share your messages of hope with others. And if you can, donate at chalkyourwalk.org so we can raise funds for research. Now's the time to get outside and start drawing so we can come together to fight pediatric kidney cancer. Learn more at chalkyourwalk.org. That's chalkyourwalk.org. All right, Shannon, lightning round time. I'm going to kick things off with Judge Lina Hidalgo. And she had her state of the county last week. You know, she talked about her push for the child care tax that didn't make the ballot. There was a lot surrounding that and what happened. But the big takeaway from the state of the county was we still don't know if Judge Hidalgo is going to run again for Harris County judge.
Raheel, we don't. My colleague Nick Notario had spoken with the judge after that big blow up regarding the penny child care tax. And she had told him that she actually viewed this as a motivation to run again. So at that point, all indicators were that she was going to run, that she saw this as fuel. Her conduct during that meeting has been viewed a couple different ways, but ultimately it led to her colleagues moving to censure her. And that's basically just a formal reprimand. Because there were children at the center of this, because they were at the county commissioners meeting, there's been a lot of questions as to whether or not her conduct was appropriate. She told us that this was really important to her, and she viewed her conduct as kind of just like, hey, this is my last shot. I'm throwing everything I have at this.
Yeah, she really wanted this, and she's still pushing for it, by the way, but it's hard to push for it when we don't know what exactly is happening in terms of her future politically. And it's already a pretty crowded field on the Democrat side because former Mayor Anise Parker has announced her candidacy. Councilmember Letitia Plummer has announced as well. And that primary is coming up in March. So if Judge Hidalgo enters that primary, it could get interesting for her. And this could be a pretty tight race because of the names that are in this. So I'm waiting. I think everyone is waiting. Like, what is going to happen? She's been teasing this for months. And even her supporters just want to know, like, what is the plan right now? So hopefully this is something that we find out pretty soon.
Raheel, so if it came down to the three of them, who would your money be on?
I don't know. That's such a good question. Mayor Anise Parker carries a lot of weight, right? That name carries a lot of weight, but we've seen Judge Hidalgo fight and really rally, and she's good at getting the base going, and she is good at winning. So I'm not sure. That's why I kind of want to see it, honestly, what happens. And then Letitia Plummer is also very popular and carries a lot of weight as well in terms of popularity and name. So this could be an epic showdown. Another showdown that I'm really excited to see play out is what's going to happen for the Democrats with their primary for U.S. Senate, because Texas Representative James Tallarico has been one of the standouts for the Democrats, and he is announcing his bid for U.S. Senate. And this really took off after he appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience, which is one of the most popular podcasts on the planet. And now that gave him enough fuel, I guess, to announce, because he is entering and he's going to be taking on Colin Allred, the U.S. representative who lost the bid for U.S. Senate against Ted Cruz. And that's just the Democrat, Shannon. On the Republican side, you've got the incumbent in John Cornyn and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. This is going to be a showdown for the ages.
It is. It does, however, feel like an appropriate time for Tallarico to step into the ring. As you mentioned, his national profile has been rising, especially with everything that happened with redistricting. I've covered him for years because I used to work in Austin. And it was funny when his name came up during redistricting. A lot of my colleagues had no idea who he was, and I had always just sort of assumed that he was a popular politician because I saw him so much. So I think we're really seeing him have a sort of breakout moment. Whether or not that's going to get him across the finish line in any sense regarding this race, I think is yet to be determined, but we're definitely seeing his star power rise.
Yeah, his star power really took off with the Joe Rogan Experience. I first learned about him because of the private school vouchers clip that went viral earlier in the year, and then the 10 Commandments law, that clip where he was talking to his colleagues about why he's against it. And yeah, it seems like he's a very sensible politician. So we'll see how this one plays out.
Yeah, he's had a couple of viral clips this year. I mean, he's a younger guy. He's in his mid-30s. I think he's very smart when it comes to social media. On the topic of schools and education vouchers, I'm actually covering a school-related story this week. So Cleveland ISD, now we're just a few weeks into the school year at this point. They've had 3 bus crashes already, one of which was actually pretty bad. We just got the crash report back on that. And the bus driver said that he was distracted. So I'm speaking with parents this week about the crash, and a lot of them that have reached out have also pointed out the fact that the driver is only 21 years old, which is, for the record, perfectly legal. But a lot of parents, I think, are reevaluating now, asking themselves, hey, if I can't rent a car at that age, why is somebody driving my children in a large bus at that age?
No, those are totally legit concerns. And by the way, that bus driver, the 21-year-old, had all the correct licensing and everything he needed. So it wasn't like he was illegally driving the bus or anything like that. And Cleveland ISD is just north of Houston. This is a fear that I have. And I have a daughter who rides the bus home. She's only 2 miles away from the house. So it's not like the bus is going down any freeways or anything, but you always have this fear of what could happen, right? Because I remember when I was a student and when I was riding the bus, kids act up, drivers get distracted, but this safety concern is a legit one. And especially if there's been 3 crashes already in the school year, that is scary.
Yeah, and you mentioned freeways. So 2 of those crashes actually happened on the same road, and it is a busy road. It's a faster road. So I think also a lot of parents are just looking at their kids' bus routes saying, should we be avoiding more dangerous roadways like this? Is that even possible?
Yeah, can you avoid the fast roads? Maybe you can find a back road if possible. But yeah, that's sad to hear that they had 3 crashes, and hopefully they're learning from it, because you still have the rest of the school year, and hopefully no more bus crashes. Kid safety is like the number one concern for so many people. And no one was hurt, right, in those crashes, from my understanding.
So some of the children were transported to the hospital with minor injuries, is what we were told. We're still working to learn more about what exactly that means.
All right, we'll follow your reporting on this story. And when we get back, only in H-Town time. For me, evenings are a blur. Between dropping off my daughter to her various activities and squeezing in a pickleball session, for me, it's nonstop. And I'll just be honest, with all that running around, I do get hungry, and I'm usually thinking about picking up fast food, and I don't want that. So, you know what I'm doing now? I'm grabbing my Huel Black Edition powder, spelled Huel. Their Black Edition powder is a complete meal that I just shake up and get 40 grams of plant-based protein and 27 essential vitamins and minerals at just $3 per meal. And just when you thought Huel had everything covered, they just dropped a first-of-its-kind Super Greens drink in a can. It's called the Huel Daily Greens Ready to Drink. Forget powders, forget pills. This is your daily greens with a sparkling and refreshing twist, and ready whenever you are. Try Huel with 15% off for new customers today using my code Houston at HUEL.com/Houston. That's Huel.com/Houston. Fuel your best performance with Huel today. Okay, Shannon, you know what we do on Tuesday. We end with Only in H-Town, stories that are so unbelievably H-Town, stories that can only happen here. And only in H-Town, Shannon, can a cosmetic company get accused of releasing 100 gallons of coconut lotion into White Oak Bayou. I'm not making this up. This is a real story.
Did you see the photos on this?
I have. It is crazy.
It looks like just like a stream of coconut lotion. Like, I don't know what they thought was going to happen.
Yeah, so this company called Immacule Labs was charged with water pollution, which, by the way, is a felony, and it should be because they disposed 100 gallons of coconut lotion, and it ended up in the bayou. What did they think was going to happen?
Yeah, Raheel, you look at those photographs, and I don't, like, it just looks like sludge. And you have to wonder, okay, if that's what the water looks like, what does that mean for the vegetation? What does that mean for the wildlife inside the bayou?
Yeah, and officials also said beyond the risk for the animals and vegetation, it could pose a risk for drinking water as well, right? 100 gallons is a big amount. And the images, you can see those images in the story that I'm linking in the show notes, but you look at it and you go, oh yeah, this is going to impact stuff. So I'm glad they caught this. And hopefully this was just a one-time incident, because if it has been happening for a while, that is unacceptable. You can't be doing that.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't. Please don't do that.
No, but only in H-Town can a company release 100 gallons of coconut lotion. I bet you weren't ready for that one, were you?
It's not great, Raheel. It's not great.
It's not great. Shannon, thank you so much for joining me. Can't wait to have you back on.
Raheel, thank you.
That was Shannon Ryan. You can watch her on ABC 13. All of the stories that we talked about in this episode are linked in our show notes. Hey, help us grow the show by sharing this episode with 3 friends who live in Midtown. Also, drop us a rating and review wherever you listen, and please subscribe if you haven't yet. Want more daily news? Check out our daily newsletter, Hey Houston, with the info in our show notes. Want to support the show and Hey Houston even more? Join our membership program by becoming a CityCast Houston neighbor for just $10 a month. You'll get some great perks like a shout out on CityCast Houston and Hey Houston when you become a member at membership.citycast.fm. Thank you. That will do it for today. I'm Raheel Ramzanali. Thank you for listening, and please properly dispose of your coconut lotion. Hold on, that was terrible. I don't know why it's a struggle. It is a struggle. Sorry, Carly.
I think we're all just struggling this fine morning.
Okay. All right. We got this. Here we go.